Welcome everyone, this is Polyphenols and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Sanswinda!
Hello.
And Krister!
Hello.
Hello everyone! Are we ready to go through another week of LOTRO?
I am ready to rock.
Oh yeah.
Alright. Oh, speaking of rocks, I've heard a rumor that a certain rock could become a housing item soon.
Ooh.
A pet rock?
And we're thinking about a certain large rock.
Was it one of our friends that was like blocking a stable route, or was it one of the other ones?
Yeah, one that was blocking a stable route. We'll see what that is all about if and when that happens. But let's see what the news is for this week. And the first little item in here we have is a developer's diary, where they're talking about the delving updates. And this is being provided by Myth, and he's one of the system designers working on the updates to the delving system. And they said that there are certain challenges and changes that they had. And they want to break down the changes into certain categories. First of all, the general balance adjustments, where they were lowering the health and things like that. Balance changes, delving gem consolidation, and reward updates. So first of all, the general balance updates. We are lowering the damage and health difficulty modifiers of enemies, particularly at tiers 5 through 10. While we want delvings to be challenging, the general difficulty in mid to high tiers ended up being higher than they really were aiming for.
In other words, no one was winning at all at any time?
Well, I'm sure that the super uber players were winning at it, but probably duos of super uber players were probably the ones that were able to complete it. But yes, I'm pretty sure that I suspect that even after the adjustments, I'm not going to be able to do level tier 10 because I'm not quite that tier of a player. And we're also decreasing the alert range of enemies at higher tiers. Enemies have a perception and a call for help radius that activates other enemies in the area once alerted. Yes, I'm familiar with that from the courtyard in Trouble in Tuckborough. And these radius effects are currently too large, resulting in mob cascade as near enemies alert mobs further away. We want careful pulling to be an important skill to execute, so we are lowering the size of these radius effects because it's hard to do good pulls if you're bringing in the entire courtyard every time you pull something.
Well, it depends on what your definition of a good pull is. If you're after quantity, then that wasn't really a good pull if you think about it.
I'm sure that the average minstrel trying to solo a mission is not going to call a dozen mobs heading towards them in a terrible speed to be what they wish to have for a challenge.
Though I've got to say, your average guardian or captain might really prefer that to having to go round them up themselves.
Yeah, I apologize. Of course, I'm thinking from a captain's perspective, not the wimpy little minis perspective.
As a mini or hunter, though, I appreciate not pulling everything automatically, just cause.
Yeah. And as for malice changes, we will be shifting the rotation of malices from a weekly to a daily schedule and adding a 6th variant. This will increase variety and ensure that if you are struggling with today's combination, you can get a different experience the next day. We're also reorganizing malice by type, only putting one of each type into each variant per band. This prevents you from encountering more than one damaging hotspot, for example, regardless of the combination that day. Alright, so therefore we're not going to encounter multiple puddles all at the same time, it sounds like then. Now, one of the things that I should note on this is that The next item is that we are adding a new malices to give you the ability to counter their effects. Sometimes we call strong counterplay in the game design space, so that they're adding epic monster skills. These are powerful but slow induction enemy malice skills. Only one attacking enemy will be able to use these skills over the malice's skills cooldown. That enemy will glow and you can interrupt this induction. If you don't, well, the skill will complete. And cursed hotspots. These hotspots are cast by enemies on themselves to heal, do more damage, and get other benefits. You will need to move the enemy from its location to lose the effect. So in other words, they dump a hotspot on top of themselves, and I guess you could say it's an anti-puddle, I guess, that they put on themselves where they're at. And they're replacing and reworking some malices, particularly the mid to low level tiers that do not have strong counterplays. Note that some higher tier malices like Vengeance and Hydra are not intended to be directly countered. We will also do a balance pass on some malices like Firestorm that will make to be made weaker than they currently are. All right, so those are a number of things. Now, concerning the malice changes, now since they're going into a rotation of a daily rotation with 6 per on there is a concern by some people of the fact that in Cardolan and in Swan Fleet, they have a 3-day rotation in there, which is, of course, a factor of 6. So they may change exactly what they're planning on there, whether they're going to tweak the timing of the Cardolan rotation or where they're going to not have a 6-day rotation of the malices but something different. I guess they'll have to figure out. But they don't want you to be stuck with the same day of Cardolan always having the same malice effect or the same 1 or 2 of them, which is what will happen if they keep currently is. So that they are now aware of that particular problem, and they are going to investigate and see what they can do about it. And who knows, maybe in the next Bullroarer, they'll have an idea of how to handle that. Now, I don't think either of you have attempted to do anything with Delvings yet, right?
Yes, that is correct. I haven't been doing delvings. However, it really is just because I don't really like. I probably could find a partner to do it with, but I really don't like doing that kind of stuff solo. However, my opinion of it is going to change based on the updates to the captain. I'm kind of interested in taking my kind of red yellow DPS tanky build and seeing what it does once the changes take place. So.
All right. There's also going to be a change in the number of tiers in there because the new list they have shows not 10 tiers, but 12 tiers.
So at tier 12, do you get 2 Umber dies?
Well, we'll see.
Sorry.
You might get like a Jade Gemstone too.
That's true, yeah. Or a Daleman's Cram.
Yeah. Anyway, that's another thing they're addressing. But anyway, the idea there is that tier 12 be the highest tier. Now, I don't think they have 11 and 12 all quite fleshed out yet. So it could be that the initial release of 35 might still only have the 10, and then the other 2 might come later. But there are definitely current plans to have tier 12 in the near future in addition to that. Now, they're also consolidating delving gems. They are reducing the number of and kinds of gems the delving system requires. We'll have 4 gems that can be used across the 12 tiers, with each gem unlocking 3 levels of delvings, 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and 10 to 12 once the system is expanded. And gems will also no longer have cracked versions, and players will get the next gem when they successfully complete a delving. You'll get 2 gems when you are on the edge of a band, like 3 and 6, to get the current and next band's gems. Remember that gems are unique, so you won't get a second gem if you already have one. If you fail a delving, you'll need to either buy a gem for a coin or repeat the previous tier to get the next gem. The prices remain low to keep the purchase price painless. All current gems are sellable, so you can get coin for any extra gems that you may have. And for reward updates, we hear you about wanting more delving writs more quickly. We will be adding 2 weekly quests to delvings, one to complete a certain number of delvings at any tier, and one to complete a smaller number of delvings on tier 6 or higher. The rewards for these quests will be Virtue XP and Delving Writs. They're also adding our first instance to Delvings with the introduction of the school at Tharmaran and the library at Tharmadine. These instances will also have a small chance at a second rare delving box with rare rewards, with higher tiers having a better chance to getting the rare delving box. And we've also heard you about getting lower level rewards at higher tiers. So we're eliminating the worst individual rewards from tier 7 through 10 band and replaced random craft boxes with crafting picker boxes. We will also be removing the rotten fruit and lumps of coal from treasure tables throughout.
Oh yeah, you want to? You know what? You just named 2 things that would have been worse to get than a number die. Okay, yeah, you're right. Boy, the lump of coal. You just should be. You get slapped right before you get the reward. You know.
We knew that delvings were an ambitious system when we launched them Before the Shadow, and we knew it would take some time to build, tweak, and adapt the system for the live game once players began using them. That's where you come in. What have you liked and disliked about delvings? What has been your experience running delvings? And let us know in your comments. Thanks. Of course, I have not really played delvings. I think the one time I tried them was back in the Bullroarer to Before the Shadow, so still haven't quite got to those yet. And also, there were a couple of other things added by Myth after that article, and that is an important note about the new gem system. I've seen some confusion about this. If you fail, say, a tier 8 delving, you do not have to barter for a new gem. As long as you have the appropriate gem from the next lower tier, in this case a garnet at 4 to 6, you can just run, in this example, a tier 6 delving, and upon completion you get 2 gems, a delving garnet and emerald, and then you can run the tier 8 again. The barter is only for convenience, it's not required to use it. And also, delvings up to tier 12, yes, we are expanding the difficulty. Wait, no. Hold your tomatoes. The current difficulty for tier 10 will transition into difficulty tier 12. We are doing this for a few reasons. Currently, the difficulty spike between 8 to 12 is very large. We'd like to make a smoother ramp up. We'd also like more classes to feel like they can do delving 7 through 12 range and get the best gear drops. So we're dropping the mid-level difficulty, as communicated above. Thirdly, we want players who are looking for a challenge to still be able to get that high level of difficulty, and that's what tiers 11 and 12 will be for. So since tier 12 will be exactly the same as current tier 10 is the next question, it says, well, not exactly. We wanted something to up the challenge, so going forward, at tiers 10 and 12, malices will be added and none will be taken away. That means that there will be 6 and 7 malices active on these tiers respectively. This is a way to increase the difficulty, complexity, and possible interactions of the malices for those who want the challenge without affecting the play experience for those who don't. Okay, so what does Tier 11 do? Dialing it up to 11. No. Tier 11 increases the monster damage, health, and perception radius, but does not introduce any new malices. It's keeping the existing Tier 11 has the same malices as Tier 10. So if you look at the table, you'll see that there are no malices listed for Tier 11. That's because it doesn't introduce any new ones. But as it noted, it's upping up the monsters a little bit. And that is the developer's diary for Delvings. Now, with the school and library getting Delvings, and I've finally finished running all of the regular missions and Cardland, all that stuff. So I think it might be time for me to try a couple of Delvings there. We'll have to see if I could fit that in my schedule and how long it takes me to cry out and what to just dunk it under the table. And with that, we'll then go and note that the Shadowfax server has been updated to level 130, which is its penultimate update. So that means it now has the Minas Morgul, the War of Three Peaks, and the Blood of Azog. Now, the bad news is that Bullroarer Beta number 3, it was originally scheduled for this week, but unfortunately it was delayed. They haven't told the exact reasons for it, but apparently they said something about matters beyond their control, so I don't know whether it was weather related, whether it was server related, whether it was something completely different related. I don't know, but Bullroarer number 3, we did not have that this week, so they are scheduling that for next week now. And probably for the same reasons that was delayed, they also had to delay update 34.3, and that's going to be on March 8th. And that update will be very difficult to delay again because the Spring Festival is scheduled to start right after that. See, I can't remember where that's scheduled for, the 8th or the 9th, probably the 9th. So we have the Spring Festival coming in, and with the Spring Festival coming in, we need update 34.3 to come in before then because that has all the new items that we're going to have for the festival. So we hope that there's not going to be another delay there because that will also mean a festival delay if it does happen that way. And that's it for our game news this week. Any comments on the news?
Yeah, I just want to put, and this has nothing to do with the news, but I loved your typo, and I think that there's something there. So the instead of Bullroarer Beta, it was Bullroarer Berta, and that just sounds like a awesome Lord of the Rings character right there. Well, of course I don't want the fest. This is the festival that I actually love, so I don't want that to be pushed back.
You don't want me to. So yes, we'll hope that there aren't any troubles that will delay the update. And besides, there are a lot of people who want that update to come in on time because that's the update that's going to be including the fix for those boxes that came out from the skirmish event, the essence boxes.
Oh boy, yeah, because everybody still has to hold on to them.
Yeah, because right? You're going to have to hold on to those for another week. So I hope that nobody came on there, assumed that the update happened, and opened up the box or anything like that, because that's a problem. So I think they did put it into the launcher that it was delayed. So I could hope that anyone who was expecting to do it did check the launcher first. Now let's go into our store sales. Sans, what's on sale this week?
Well, this week, you can start a new journey with 20% off character slots, vet status, and stat packages and XP boosts through March 9th. And you can use the weekly coupon code Morale and Power to get 5 free rejuvenation potions. And that coupon code is MORALEANDPOWER. And that is also good through March 9th.
All right. Then let's head into our week in gaming. And Krister, what were you up to?
Well, I was waylaid by a terrible virus this week, so I was kind of out of sorts. But I did something that's relatively unprecedented. My organization style would best be described as random chaos. And what I've been doing is we've been running our raids and our 6-mans over and over and over again, and my inventory just kind of accumulated. So I did a massive reorganization and purge of my inventory, and it felt really good to anytime you can free up a whole bag, that's just magic. It's magic at this point to have that many inventory spaces. It's almost unbelievable to have that many inventory spaces available. So I rearranged my inventory, got that squared away. We ended up not doing anything last night, but everybody's looking forward to the update, and we're definitely. I'm feeling that we're gonna get enough people back in the game to do a raid. So looking forward to that time period, and so that once again, that's where I'm hoping that we don't have to go through any more delays. But that I guess we'll just take it as it comes. And then ESO, I've been continuing to tank vents. I just like tanking. I think that's what I just realized. I like tanking quite a bit. And it's a different type of tanking than LOTRO, but it's still, there's similar things. You point the bad guy away from everybody else. And I organized his inventory as well. So I was very organized this week, which means I won't be organized for the next 3 to 5 years. But it was really good that it happened. And then outside of the MMOs, I was still tinkering around with their billions, and it just has to happen every once in a while. I reloaded GTA 5 and been playing that for a bit. Sans, what have you been up to?
Well, I actually did buy 2 more character slots on Thursday. And I was looking to see what was on sale, and I was like, wait, character slots? I wonder if I can buy any.
I thought you were at the theoretical limit of character slots.
Okay, so my main account is at the limit, and it would not let me buy any. But I logged in Knuckle Sandwich, and that account was allowed to buy some, so I bought 2 more, and that was pretty cool. And then I respect Knuckle Sandwich.
Could you technically field an army if you could log all your tunes in?
I mean, yes. I don't think my computer or internet would handle it, though. But yes, I could. And then my level 120 warden, I respect her, and she went riding and slaying and opening stable routes through Rohan with Grandis this week. And that was fun. And at the end, I was like, I'm so glad that I remembered to, update allies and stuff on this character, and all I had to do was respec. And I was like, wonder what this ally is. Anyway, and I looked, and I did not update the allies. They're still old allies.
No.
I mean, they're pretty nice for stage old allies. But I was like, well, I suppose, updating that would probably be good before I take on, on-level enemies. So that's the next mission for that warden, is new allies. But first she's got to get some gold too, because she doesn't have gold to reforge those allies if she does get them. So, yeah, I'll see what I can figure out. And I started a new playthrough of Dragon Quest Builders 2. And that was pretty fun. And I made it to fall of year 2 on my normal Stardew Valley farm. So that was also pretty fun. How was your week, Pineleaf?
I'll begin with my Runekeeper. My Runekeeper was running epic stories in Western Rohan, where I reached Helm's Deep, so I'm getting ready to help the people there and getting ready for that nasty battle that we're sure is going to happen. I suspect those I'll be doing a shortcut through the epic battles, since that is an option now these days. My lore master spent a holiday on the farm. That's because I finished up what I was doing in Cardolan and decided that after Cardolan, I needed a rest, because you can imagine all that stuff after facing the great fear and all that stuff, that a vacation is the first thing you want. So I thought, let's have a little holiday at the farmer's market at North Cotton Farm. So I went up to North Cotton Farm and I did the various quests up there. Everything was fine until that nastiness at the glass blowers, because, well, that's a whole nother story in itself. And I guess means I had to, after helping them, I got a note that I had to go and help with some sort of siege over at Gondaman that I helped with. And now, I guess it's time for me to head east towards the Lone Lands. But I heard that there's a festival that may be opening up soon in the Shire, so perhaps I'll take another break before heading out to the Lone Lands. We'll have to see about that next week. And then on Friday Night Fights, I attempted to play a minstrel in some skirmishes. And we started out with 5 people in there, so we had 2 champions, a Bjorning, a minstrel, and a cap. Was it the captain? Was the 5th one? It was actually, no, it wasn't a captain. I forgot what the 5th one was. We essentially had heavy. Oh, that's right. A brawler was the last one in there. So we were thinking, sometimes the idea that, hey, how about we try Doom of Karis Galebrin with 5, with 1 healer.
Oh boy.
And basically a couple of tanks and I guess a couple of DPS is pretty much what we had in there. And it all started out being pretty fine for the first 2 assaults, but then we came to the one where we had to split apart. Now we made a nice plan on what to do when it was time to split up. And when we came to split up, I immediately ran to the other gate so that I will be able to help over there. And about halfway there, I noticed no one else was coming this way. So I arrived there and I'm trying to heal the poor elves that are there. Of course, there is no tank there or anything like that. So the elves are being beat upon. And while I'm healing one elf, another one of the elves got killed. Yeah, it looks like both of the elves eventually got killed because we wound up losing the skirmish as a result of that. So we decided, okay, maybe that wasn't the best plan that we had in there. So we tried some other skirmishes and did a lot better there. I was hoping to do some Mirkwood skirmishes, but of course, it turned out that someone there didn't have the Mirkwood skirmishes unlocked because he had Valor the character. So we instead ran Attack at Dawn, which went reasonably well. And I managed to finish up the Attack at Dawn deed on that particular character. So at least we got something done for that particular night on that matter. And then we did a couple more skirmishes. And then we got down to 3 players. We decided to try Ayabar's Peak. And so we ran that and had a pretty successful time with it. I think our party was a little bit better balanced on that particular occasion. And that concludes my week in LOTRO. We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rated players and help support LOTRO players, you go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or more likely when Drac is available, we have Neo Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News, where next week we expect to have our 500th episode. Whee!
Wow.
I know it's hard to imagine that as of next week, I've done this 500 times.
Isn't doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result psychosis? Isn't it?
Well, this is a podcast expecting the same results with the sign of psychosis. You can join our shows at LoTROplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Finally Gold reminding you to skirmish responsibly.